All right, we're going to go ahead and move forward here into talking about page fragments. Now, page fragments are new to Liferay 7.1. They make everybody's life a little bit easier. Okay, so page fragments allow us to essentially add in some HTML, CSS, or JavaScript for a section of the page, so a chunk of content, if you will. And we can actually make it editable for our marketers as well. Okay, so we'll look at an example of this together, but this will simplify the process, allowing our marketers to take existing fragments, so that could be a banner section, that could be a footer section, different things like that on the page, and they could theoretically edit the image. They could edit the text, they could edit the links, whatever we make editable for them, they can reuse and edit throughout the platform. Okay, so this will allow our marketing team, once we as the front-end developers have set this up, this will allow our marketing team to very quickly generate new pages that look nice, that fit into the branding that we have defined, and edit whatever content or images they need to. Okay, so these can be created using the Fragment Editor. Okay, so it's going to be similar to the editors that we've already used, and we're going to take a look at that together. Fragments are organized into what are called collections. Collections keep the fragments distinct. Okay, so for example, if I wanted to have a collection of fragments that are intended for landing pages, I can do that in a new collection. If I wanted to have a collection to maybe identify the purpose of the fragments, such as banners or calls to action or different things like that, I can create collections for that as well. All right, and then we can use those again on these special content pages. So we have to create a content page and add those fragments to the page. So we'll take a look at what that looks like. Okay, for us, as we are creating these fragments together, in order to make individual elements of the fragment editable, we can use the Lfr Editable Tag. Okay, now the Lfr Editable Tag requires a couple of things. Namely, it requires an ID as well as the type. Okay, so right now what we have is text, image, and HTML. Okay, now I will say moving forward, again, we're in an early stage of 7.1, but moving forward, HTML will probably be changed to rich text. Okay, and that will allow you to do a little bit of additional work than just a normal text field, but it removes the complexity of having a full alloy editor for those particular sections. Now, developers can create fragments outside of Liferay if they'd like. They can go ahead and import them, and then they just need to basically check them and publish them. Okay, so the way this is done is you can create a folder on your operating system called whatever the name of the collection is. Okay, you'll have a collection.json as well as the fragment folders, and then the fragment JSON in that folder with the source. So there is some documentation on this that you guys can take a look at if you're interested in doing this with your own local tools. Okay, we're going to do sort of a mix of the two, of course, because we want to go ahead and work with our editor so that we can walk through some of the code. But other than that, we're going to go ahead and just simply place it in the platform and publish it from there. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that together. We're going to add a couple of fragments, and then we're going to import the rest and just simply see what they look like. So we'll add a banner, and then we'll add some featured content as well and see how easy this is. And what we're primarily going to focus on here is the editable tag. Okay, so we've already done some work with creating some templates together. In terms of the div structure and the classes, it's not going to be that much different. So we're going to focus primarily on making sure different elements are going to be editable. Go ahead and open up the menu. Okay. Inside administration, go to Build and Page Fragments. Okay. Go ahead and click on New and Collection. Okay, we need to make a new collection for our new fragments. We're going to call this Front Page, let's do all caps, Featured Content, and click Save. Okay, so once I have my collection here, I can go ahead and add new fragments on the right side of the page. Okay, so before we do that, let's go ahead and set up the fragment using our editor, and then we'll go ahead and add the fragments here. Okay, So open up the Visual Studio Code editor and open up your exercises. Okay. We're going to go ahead and in our exercises in the 5th module, we're still there, open up the page fragments section here. Okay. And we have the featured banner and, the main banner and the featured content. So let's go ahead and drag the main banner onto the editor. Okay, and we can go ahead and work from here. Okay, so like I said, we're just going to do some snippets here to add in the heading and the lead text for the banner. And then we're going to go ahead and make them editable together. Okay, so otherwise, we're using a div structure using some Bootstrap classes. Okay, we also have some Clay classes mixed in here. We're getting our image from a URL. Okay, so it just makes it a little bit easier as an example. All right, so let's start by highlighting the 01 banner heading. All right, type in LFR. Okay, and we have the 01 banner heading. It should be at the top here. Go ahead and select that. Okay, look at that, nice and easy. All right, and we'll do the same thing for the 02 section here as well. Okay, so go ahead and type LFR and select the second snippet. Okay. These are simple. We could have typed them out, but these are essentially to show you what it is we want to actually make editable. Okay. We want to make the title editable, and we want to go ahead and make the lead text editable. And again, what that will mean is that our marketing team will be able to add this fragment on a number of different pages, and they'll be able to add their own titles or lead text. Okay. So let's go ahead and walk through those steps together. We need to go ahead and add our editable tags here. So what we're going to do is we're going to add the editable tags for the actual text itself. Okay. So for Livingston Hotels and Resorts, that's where we need to add the editable text. So let's go ahead and make sure our cursor is right before Livingston and create a new tag. Okay, and call it LFR-editable. Okay. We're going to go ahead and give this an ID. Okay. And the ID will be called main title. Okay. And then we need to go ahead and set the type. So the type, of course, is going to be text. And then we can close our new tag. Okay. Now the nice thing is when we close the tag, we get the closing tag here immediately. So we can go ahead and just simply cut this and paste it right after resorts. Okay. All right, and we're going to do the same thing for the lead text here as well. Okay, so make sure you're in the p tag where we see our text. Okay, let's go ahead and type in LFR-editable. Okay. Go ahead and do ID is equal to, and this one we will call body text, body-text, and then set the type to text, just like we did before. Okay. And then, of course, I'm going to go ahead and grab the closing tag, and I'm going to paste that right at the end here. Okay. All right, so now we have completed our first fragment, making it editable. Again, we're not focusing on the rest of the div structure. That's something that you guys can do. You can work with those Clay and Bootstrap classes. We just want to make sure that our marketing team, in this case, can edit the title as well as the body text. Okay. So let's go ahead and copy our new fragment, and then we'll add it into the platform and see what this looks like together. Okay. So go ahead and open up your browser. All right, we left off in the page fragment section here, okay, inside of our collection called Front Page Featured Content. And I'm going to go ahead and click on the Add button at the top right here to add a new fragment. Okay. This is going to be called 01 Main Banner. Surprise, surprise, it looks like I've done this before. Okay, and go ahead and click on Submit. Okay. So this is the Fragment Editor, Okay? This allows us to add our HTML at the top left, CSS at the top right, JavaScript at the bottom left, and then we get a visual display here at the bottom right, and we can actually test our different screen sizes using these icons. Okay? So for us, we just have a simple fragment. We haven't added any CSS or JavaScript. We're just taking advantage of those Bootstrap and Clay classes. So go ahead and delete the existing HTML and paste in our new fragment. Okay? All right, so this gives us a display of what our fragment will look like. Again, this looks really, really nice. We can reuse this on our pages. And now our marketing team can edit the title and the body text. Okay. So once you are satisfied with this, we can go ahead and click Publish. If you want to make any of the other elements editable, feel free to pause the video and just play around with that. Add some new editable tags to the image or the buttons or different things like that. And we can go from there. Okay. But I'm going to go ahead and click Publish at the top right. And we now have our main banner. Okay. All right, so for the last example here, before we import the rest, we're going to go ahead and add some featured content. So go ahead and open up your editor again. I'm going to go ahead and close the main banner HTML. Okay, open your exercises, and we now have a featured content file here. Okay, that's what we're going to be working with. For this guy, we're going to want to make editable 3 different elements. Okay, so go ahead and drag this into your editor. Okay, we have a title, a subtitle, and an image that we want to make editable for this. So let's go ahead and add those elements in first, and then we'll go ahead and make them editable. Okay, so highlight over the 03 featured title. You guys know the drill by now. Go ahead and do Lfr and find the 3rd snippet here. Okay. Go ahead and highlight the 4th featured subtitle section here, Lfr, and find the 4th snippet. Okay. And lastly, go ahead and highlight over the 05 featured image, type Lfr, and get that last snippet there. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and make these different sections editable. Okay. So for the first element here, for our title, go ahead and make sure your cursor is before plan. Okay, so again, we're adding editable to the text itself. And let's make our new tag. We'll do Lfr-editable. We need an ID. Okay, so we're going to call this guy main title here. Okay, and we need a type, which is obviously text. Okay, and again, I'm going to go ahead and just simply cut this closing tag and paste it right after now. Okay. All right. Oh, we need to go ahead and double check here. I need to make sure to close the quotes here. Okay. Thank you, text highlighting. All right. Let's do the same thing for the lead text. Okay. Go ahead and create an Lfr Editable Tag. We need an ID. Okay. And this ID is going to be subtitle text. And then we need a type, which again is just simply going to be text. All right, make sure that closing tag is at the end again. All right, and lastly, we want to go ahead and make our image editable as well. Okay, for this guy, we're actually going to place editable before the image tag. Okay, we're going to make this entire section editable. All right, so do Lfr Editable. Okay, for the ID, we're going to name this main image. Okay, and for the type, this will be different this time. We're going to actually type in image. Okay, and I'm going to grab that new closing tag that just popped up, and I'm going to put it all the way at the end of the image tag. Okay, it's going to be right before the closing A tag. All right, so this now gives us 3 editable elements in this particular fragment. So let's go ahead and add it to our collection. Okay, got to collect them all, right? Oh wait, that's got to catch them all. Sorry about that. All right, so go ahead and copy this and open up your browser. Okay, go ahead and click on Add at the top right. Again, we're still in our collection here. Okay, we're going to name this 02 Featured Content. Okay, click Submit. Just like we did before, we're going to go ahead and get rid of the dummy HTML, and we're going to paste in our new HTML, okay, to see our featured content. Okay, and lastly, we can go ahead and click Publish. Okay, so the last thing we're going to do, just for testing purposes, we're going to go ahead and import the rest of our fragments. Okay, so to do that, we need to go ahead and click on Import next to Collections here. Okay. All right, so we're going to click on the Options menu and Import next to Collections. Click Select Files. Okay. All right, and we're going to go ahead and navigate to the 5th section of our exercises. Again, that's going to be 05 Customizing Applications with Templates. And open up the 03 Page Fragments section. And here we will find the completed fragment collection zip. All right, so go ahead and open that up. Click Import. Okay, and it's actually a zip file. So like we mentioned earlier, you can create fragments using your own tools. And when you actually bring them in, it will be done through a zip file. Okay, so go ahead and exit out of here. Okay. All right, and we have a number of new fragments that we can work with here. Okay. All right, so if we want to see these on display, we can go ahead and create a new content page. But what you'll see first is that they are all imported through or as drafts. Okay. Now the reason for this is because the intention is if you have created a bunch of fragments, some of them may not work as expected in Liferay. So in order to just double check, they are in draft mode. So if we want, we can publish all of these. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and do that here. I'm just going to go into each one and publish them. Okay. So go ahead and if you'd like, you could feel free to take a few minutes to do that as well. Okay, so now I have all of my fragments approved. They are published. Let's go ahead and add a content page just to see them on display. Okay. All right, so in Build, go ahead and click on Pages. And we can just simply go to the Add menu at the top right to add a new content page. Okay, so click Add. Click Content Page. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and name this landing page and click Submit. Okay. All right, now let's click on the Options menu next to the landing page and View. Okay. And now what we can do in this section is we can add our fragments. Okay, so I can go ahead and add our 2 fragments that we created. If you want, you can have a little bit of fun. You can just go ahead and add the rest of them all the way down the line. Okay. All right, and if we want to take a look, we can now see our fragment page for the Livingston Hotels and Resorts. Okay. So pretty cool, nice and simple. And of course, just like we did, if I go in here, I can actually change the text here. Okay. Or you can type whatever you'd like. Okay. That just shows you an example of how simple it is for our marketing team to make those edits. Okay. So we can go ahead and click Publish. And now we have a new landing page with all of our new fragments that our marketing team can go ahead and work on together. All right, so to sum up page fragments, these are new to 7.1. and they allow us to create that pixel perfect content that we want using HTML, JavaScript, or CSS. And of course, we can take advantage of Clay and Bootstrap or any other frameworks that we've talked about here. And we can make that content reusable and editable for our marketing team. Okay. Once all of our fragments are created, we can go ahead and take our group of fragments, our collection, and we can display them on special content pages. Okay. So we looked at the editor. The editor allows us to add each of those features. We can take a look at what our fragment will look like, and we can even do some responsive testing. Okay. And content administrators can also take fragments and do some cool things with that and actually map them to different pages as well. Okay. So if you're interested in that, you can take a look at what we do with our fragments in the content management videos as well. Okay. Otherwise, thanks for sticking around, and those are going to be the templates and fragments options for this section.